Hi.
Welcome back or welcome to. My name is Emily.
Why, thank you. Some people call me Mitch, but you can call me Charming Man 93 if you want.
And today we are talking about feminism.
Oh, great! My favourite subject in the whole wide world. I love you. Please, continue.
Specifically, intersectional feminism.
Oh, goody! Intersectional feminism. The even more crazier feminism than the other feminisms.
It's a term that I've seen popping up over the past year or so. I did not know what it was, so I did a little bit of research, and I want to share with you what I found in my personal idea of what an intersectional feminist is.
Yeah, you did your research. I mean, obviously it wasn't just confirmation bias confirming as usual. You didn't know what it was. None of you know what it was, but then you do a little bit of research, and now you're all feminists or intersectional feminists. And please, do tell me what your personal idea is of what makes an intersectional feminist, because isn't it weird that the feminists always have a personal idea of what it is, like an individual way of describing what they are as feminists, what feminists are. There's no actual objective criteria for what a feminist is. There's no actual definition apart from a dictionary definition, which must not be questioned. It is gospel, or you are literally haram. But yeah, it's odd that I've noticed that a lot. But continue.
Because I think that this idea is very, very important.
Yeah, endless pontifications about what things are mixed and what things are linked, rather than actually dealing with issues in the real world. Yeah, it's important.
So let's begin. What the fuck is an intersectional feminist?
I don't know. You tell me.
It's essentially the idea that not every woman on the planet is middle class, cisgendered, and white.
Wait, what? What did you just say just then?
Cisgendered.
Size-gendered? What the fuck is that? What is size-gendered? Don't you just mean overweight or underweight? Or not just one weight? What the hell is size-gendered? Is this one of the 76 genders that Tumblr have come up with because they want to be cool and edgy? Is this what it is? I mean, to be honest, intersectional feminists are not really about the whole, not all women are like this, that and the other. It's more like, how can racism, not classism, they claim classism, but none of them actually talk about class. They talk about how all the different discriminations somehow meet and connect with sexism, as if it's all intersectional, interconnected. And they always come up with some spurious bullshit to back that up, even though we know that that's not always the case. But whatever. I'll let you continue on what your definition is, because it's obviously the right definition.
Not every woman on the planet falls into a majority in the rest of their lives.
So what you're saying is, it's basically what we've been trying to tell every feminist, including intersectional feminists, funnily enough, that these things are as they are. Women are individuals, they have different life experiences, and therefore you cannot say they are all this, that and the other. Is that what you're saying? Because I've responded to intersectional feminists before, and they've not quite done what you've said they've done. Obviously, when it comes to white feminists and black women and white women, they will do this, but they don't do it for everyone, because even then they ignore the intricacies and the nuance of both races, because we know there are black women who are richer than white women and vice versa. And you know what, I was going to say something else, but let's continue and say the best till last as usual.
And that affects how they approach feminism and their gender.
Well, even Stevie Wonder can see that.
It's the same basic concept as feminism, that all women should be equals in this world, but intersectional feminism takes it one step further.
I thought feminism was about the social, political and economic equality of both sexes. Am I right? Or advocacy or activism on the grounds of women's rights. I thought that's what it was. That's literally the dictionary definition. So you're telling me that feminism is actually about the equality of all women, but not women to men. So are you basically saying that intersectional feminism is this equity feminism that we've been searching for the last couple of years now? Just wondering.
Saying that all women, no matter skin color, age, class, disability, sexuality, or gender identification, deserves to be heard, understood, and supported.
But hang on, that's exactly how you just described normal feminism before.
It's the same basic concept as feminism, that all women should be equals in this world.
So they're basically the same thing then. It's not for the social and equality, blah, 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 the sexes then, is it? It's just for women. They're literally the same things. That's what you're saying. I don't think you've thought about this very well. I think your research had a few mares, to put it lightly.
And as feminists, we must be the ones who stand up and say, yes, I will protect these people and I will support these people in my community because everyone deserves love and respect.
Well, you see, that's where you're wrong, because there'll be swerfs and turfs who disagree with you. Those of you who don't know, a swerf is a sex worker exclusionary radical feminist, and a turf is a trans exclusionary radical feminist. What an intersectional feminist basically is a rad fem that's for everyone, apart from men, obviously. Yeah, that's basically what she seems to be getting at here. Those two groups would disagree with you, because the TERFs would argue that the men who were born in the wrong body, who see themselves as women, shouldn't be put under that umbrella. Likewise, women who want to become men. And then, of course, you've got the swerfs who think that sex workers should not be put into that because they're tools of the patriarchy of some sort. So, yeah, basically, you have a lot of disagreement going on there, just saying.
Intersectionality is actually a term that was coined by Kimberly Crenshaw back in 1989. Crenshaw developed a theory surrounding overlapping social identities and how that relates to systems of oppression and discrimination.
Yeah, but did she give us any evidence to back this up, that all these things interconnect with tools of oppression? Because I've yet to see an actual feminist or an intersectional feminist show me these connections. It's just a load of gobbledygook and people basically strawmanning or making things up or coming to a conclusion and seeing things that aren't there. So, can you perhaps show me some evidence?
The textbook definition of intersectional feminism is that it is the idea that women all experience oppression differently, in varying configurations and degrees of intensity.
Not all women are oppressed. Is Hillary Clinton oppressed because she's currently a politician and is about to run for the presidency? Is Angela Merkel oppressed? She's literally running a country as we speak. What about Nicola Sturgeon, who is the First Minister of Scotland? Not to be confused with Prime Minister, she basically runs that area of the United Kingdom. It's the devolution people, basically. She's not oppressed, although she would claim she's oppressed by the English, but that's another issue entirely. She's not oppressed, she got elected, she was given the leadership role by a man, and by the rest of the party, who are mostly men. These people are oppressed, and then you've got Hollywood celebrities who earn a lot of money. They're not oppressed. Then you've got middle class women and upper class women who earn high wages and own their own businesses. Are they oppressed? I don't think so. And then you've got the hard-working women at the bottom. Are they oppressed? Well, you could argue that some of their middle class counterparts as well in that lower strata, and then you've got the working class people are oppressed because they're the ones who are currently being squashed by economic sanctions from our government, for example, for the economy, but so are men. So working class men and middle class men are feeling the squeeze. Some of those men are married to these women. Are they oppressed because of their gender or because of their class? It doesn't make sense, does it? Because not all these women are dealing with these problems. And then of course, it runs across racial boundaries. Some of these rich women are black. Some of these rich women are Asian. In fact, a lot of them will be Asian because in America, the Asians are the richest and the most successful ethnic group. At least Chinese, Japanese, Koreans are. I don't know about Indians and Pakistanis. So immediately, your whole idea about all women are oppressed differently doesn't add up, because these people clearly aren't being oppressed because of their gender. Now, if you were to go to, say, the Middle East or Africa or some Pacific nations, maybe you could say that these women are being oppressed because of their gender. And let's not forget the Far East too, with China, when they introduced back in the day that two children only rule or one child only rule. I cannot remember, sorry people right now. There was an overwhelming favour in regards to male children because it passed down the line, obviously, doesn't it? And female children were not wanted, at least not as much as men. So there you go, you see? But no, apparently all women.
Cultural patterns of oppression are not only interrelated, but are bound together and influenced by the intersectional systems of society.
Citation needed. Have you got any proof that all these things are connected and that society is somehow connected in such a way that it is oppressing women? Please, can you give me any examples?
In other words, no two people have the same experience with adversity.
True, but not in the way that you think.
As a bisexual woman, I have a very different experience than a straight woman. And as an American, I have a very different experience than a woman who's living under Sharia law.
Very true on the last part. On the former part, it's not that different, really. But I wouldn't know. Maybe it is very different.
Same goes for trans women, black women, Asian women.
Now, as much as some people would think this is them trying to be individualistic, they're not. They're still being collectivist. But they're putting everyone in little brackets, in little pockets of what this person is, therefore they experience this. But as I mentioned before, not all black people are poor, or have even suffered racism. Not all Asian people happen to be rich or successful, as we know. Some people are in the triads for a reason. For example, not all trans women are necessarily in a bad position either. But please, do go on. They're obviously all oppressed in some way, aren't they? Not because they're Asian, because they're trans, because they're black. Am I right?
Non-binary women.
Like cisgendered things, they do not exist.
Women who cannot have children. Women who don't want children.
I'm sorry, but how are these women oppressed? One of them has a disability of sorts. It kind of is, isn't it, people? Not being able to do what your body naturally should be able to do, and one doesn't. How is that intersectional? How is that them being oppressed? How are they oppressed in a different way? Someone just has a medical issue. And that's totally acceptable. And plus, they can still have children. They can adopt. Or, if they're lucky enough, if it works, IVF. It's not all down to these silly collectivist notions of oppression. These people aren't being oppressed because of that. In fact, they're probably not even being oppressed at all, because that also can affect literally any woman. Anyone. Unless they're trans.
Any woman on the planet deserves love, respect, and understanding.
Nobody deserves respect. They need to earn the respect. But I do agree, we must love our neighbours. We must try to empathise with people, if that's what you mean by understanding. And that's what we try to do. But you feminists don't seem to understand empathy, respect, or love very well, funnily enough.
As individuals in our own particular set of circumstances, we all have unique experiences and insights.
You've not even once addressed any of these groups as individuals. You've just addressed them as groups and collectives. So don't go around calling them individuals, because you haven't. Unless you are going to now. That would be a first.
There's no one-size-fits-all feminism.
Oh really? Pray tell.
Therefore, we must be aware of the multifaceted experiences of the woman.
Yeah, but you've not shown any awareness whatsoever of personal experience, of individual experience. You've literally just said that all women, all of them, even the ones in power, are oppressed or experiencing oppression in some way different from each other because of arbitrary notions of skin colour and class and all that shit. Even though class is relevant, I'm just saying it's all still arbitrary, and it's probably the only one that actually matters. Race is irrelevant in the West.
And remember that their perspective from within this adversity is the most valuable.
But not all these women are dealing with adversity. They've got the wealth, they've got the power. What adversity is there beyond boredom? I'm just wondering.
It is not our jobs to pass judgment or police women. It is our jobs to stand with them.
But your movement does it anyway, to women who aren't feminists and to women who even are feminists. If the woman happens to be a right-winger, she is tarnished by the mostly left-wing movement. A right-wing feminist will be tarnished for calling herself one. I've seen it in the Telegraph. A Tory MP was talking about how she considers herself a feminist and is annoyed that all these left-wingers are ostracising her. Women who are not feminists are pressured into being feminists because they're women. Therefore, they should be feminists. It's the right thing to do. You are all like religious people. Like, for example, Christians and Muslims will go, you cannot be moral if you don't believe in a God. It's exactly the same. You are basically saying if you do not believe in feminism, you are not for gender equality. If you are a woman, you should be a feminist. It's exactly the same as if you are from this particular area. If you were born in a certain family, you must be a Muslim, you must be a Christian. That's exactly what it is, and that's what your movement does. You do not give a shit about individual women. You don't. Only the collectives, only yourselves. And even then you'll fight yourselves. If one feminist, like say Camille Paglia, says something against the status quo, she will be ostracised, she will be attacked. Or Erin Pizzey, before she stopped calling herself one and removed herself completely from your movement, she had the audacity to say that violence isn't gendered. And she got death threats, she was picketed, and her book was nearly left unpublished. So, yeah, apparently you care about all individual women. You don't. And don't lie to us that you do.
As a white cisexual woman...
I thought you were bisexual. Now you're saying you're sizesexual? Look, your size is not a gender. Your size is your size. I'm a 28-inch waist guy. I don't know what actual weight I am. I think it's about... I don't know how it works. Is it 6 stone? 5? I can't remember how heavy I am. But that is not my gender. My gender is male. Your gender is female. Please, get it right. You're a bisexual woman, not a cisgendered woman.
It is my job to understand my privilege and use it to lift the voices of women who are being pushed aside.
At least you recognise you may have some societal advantages, but you don't actually say it in regards to men, but to women, because men are totally irrelevant in this conversation. But hey, at least you're kind of being honest about it in a way. You know, feminism isn't for men. Never has been, never will be. No matter how much you try and say you're for us. It's kind of like how the religious people say, oh yeah, we're totally going to say that the atheists are going to go to heaven. Well, they're going to go to hell, but we're going to say you're going to go to heaven anyway, just to bullshit you. That's basically what it is, isn't it?
This idea has been around for decades, but over the past couple of years, it's gained a lot of traction. It is a complicated idea with a lot of misjudgments and badly spoken words.
That's because privilege is a bad idea. That's why.
There are some women who believe that intersectionality is just a way of furthering racism.
I thought it was meant to stop racism. It was invented by a black woman, wasn't it, right? So how exactly is that? I see. She mustn't have liked white people then, which is why some women think, otherwise known as some feminists, women do not equal feminists, and vice versa, think it's for furthering racism. Okay, I get you.
There are women who think that we need to strictly identify the roles of women.
Shock horror, some feminists, or maybe some women, I don't know, they could be men, but then again, are they actually feminists? But whatever. Are claiming that some women, or women in general, should have roles? Are these gender roles?
I don't personally agree with either of these ideas, but you have to remember that something this big and something this newly mainstream is going to have a lot of conflict surrounding it.
Oh yeah, I totally understand. The black feminists are attacking the white feminists, and all the feminists attacking these TERFs and SWERFs, and they're all attacking each other. And then, at the same time, collectively, they're all attacking the men, and the men's rights activists, and the egalitarians, and well, pretty much everybody. Yeah, I get you. Conflict.
So use your head, use your heart, discover your own personal brand of feminism.
Just use your head, research, and realise that these people are just trying to sell you woo and snake oil, and that they're not for your rights, they're only for their own power, basically. But hey, don't take my word for it. She's trying to make you take her word for it.
But always remember that if you want your opinion validated, you have to value the opinions of others.
Unless they're men's rights activists and egalitarians or anyone who isn't a feminist, burn them, call them misogynists, block them on Twitter. Please, whatever you do, do not let them speak ill of us. We must let nobody know the truth. The normies must not know.
What I would like to ask of you, please, watching this video, tell me about your own personal experiences as a woman navigating the world. How do you feel about feminism and other women, and what has affected your views?
Personally, I think women can do whatever they want to do. They don't have to be feminists. They're equal to me. There are some things they can do that I can't do, and there's some things that I can do that they can't do. But at the end of the day, these differences benefit the human race, and I don't see why they're a problem. And as for feminism, feminism tries to ruin that. It tries to ruin the balance and the chemistry between men and women, and to create a supremacy for women against men. But these women aren't like all women. It's just women who are feminists who happen to be rich. They're usually white, but they don't have to be. And these people are just your typical power mongers. These are the people who just want to control you. It doesn't matter if you're left or right, feminist or not feminist. These people exist. And that's what this movement is to me.
Do you agree with the idea of intersectional feminism, or have you seen it used negatively to further racism?
Yes, I have. It makes everything that's white, who happens to be about 3/4 of my family, by the way, racist and the enemy, and that they must be fought and dealt with in some way. They don't never actually say. It basically is everybody who isn't white against white people, usually white men. It's also sexist. So yeah, it is racist and it is sexist.
What are some ways that privileged people such as myself can lift the voices of those who are being oppressed?
Firstly, acknowledge that class is a real issue and it affects everyone. First, acknowledge that sexism can affect everyone, that racism can affect everyone. That pretty much any discriminatory action can affect anybody in the world. And then carry on from there. And that's all I've actually got at the moment, because I want this video to end. Thank you very much.
What do you think the best strategies for inclusivity are? Just anything. If you have feelings about being a woman and feminism, I want to hear about them. Leave it in the comments, leave it on one of my social medias that will be in the description. Thank you for watching this video. I love every single one of you so very, very much. Thank you. There's not many of you, but you're so...
I will cut her short right there because she's basically saying goodbye, people. So, yeah, I'm man-interrupting and mansplaining so I can end my video and say how much I love you all. And if you love me in return, you could always donate to that Patreon, because if you donate, I get to do videos from your requests if you donate the right amount. So, yeah, a little bit of e-begging there for you people. See you later.